Professor. Respected resource person, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Ma'am, respected Registrar, dear participants and beloved IT section. A warm welcome to all of you for the third day of the Faculty Development Program on Teaching Pedagogy and Interdisciplinary Approach. At the outset, first 2 days, so we had happily completed different technical sessions. So today, to create an interface with an interesting area called law, religion, and spirituality. So today we have with us very eminent scholar in the discipline, who is none other than Dr. K. Parameswaran. Dr. Parameswaran sir is an associate professor of law and former dean of academics at Gujarat National Law University. Professor have vast experience both teaching and administration. He had started his academic career when I was a student of the University of Madras Department of Legal Studies, and he had taught National Law University Bangalore, NLU Jodhpur, SLS Law College Pune. Professor was appointed as a governing board member in the Auroville Foundation, Government of India, and UNESCO, associated with the World Commission on Environment Law, International Consortium for Law and Religion, Project for Integrating Spirituality, Law and Politics, Interfaith Dialogue, Conflict Mitigation, Vedic Studies, and Indian Heritage. Professor is pioneered a law subject title, Law, Religion, Spirituality and Justice, and also Method of Ethics, Skill Development. Professor also proficient in cognitive behavioral psychotherapy, clinical hypotherapy, and also a master trainer in neuro-linguistic programming. Professor also works to bring spiritual awareness and peace values in legal research, writes on contemporary issues, keeping Sri Aurobindo integral knowledge for individual and collective developments, social harmony and holistic well-being. Yes, extensively lectures in India and abroad and trains students, advocates, judicial officers and PhD scholars through immense workshop and faculty development program. With this brief introduction, so let me welcome Dr. K. Parameswaran sir. So I welcome all our participants whose extensive support and encouragement compelled us to do more work. So with this, I leave the floor to Dr. K. Parameswaran sir. Welcome sir. Please sir, over to you sir.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, Professor. You are audible, Professor.
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity from Tamil Nadu National Law University, which is my home state and home district from where I come from. It's a great honor for me to be part of this most important faculty development program for 1 week. At the outset, I thank wholeheartedly Professor Dr. V.S. Elizabeth, Vice Chancellor of the prestigious university, and all the faculty members of this institution, and also my FDP committee, with whom I have had the best support, including Professor Amrutalingam and others, and all the participants of this important FDP program. It's a great honor for me to be a part of this FDP, specifically on interdisciplinary approach to teaching method and pedagogy. Before we get into the topic, the theme that is given to me for today's session, that is exploring the bonds between law, spirituality, religion, justice, and so on. We all must remember and keep in mind and pay due attention to the very theme of this FDP. The FDP is on interdisciplinary approach that is going to impact the teaching methodology and pedagogy, or the teaching methodology pedagogy must include the interdisciplinary approach, both from both sides, vice versa, because of various reasons. We all know that we are living in a almost ending pandemic situation, which is going to set a new normal for all of us, the new future, the new beginning for all of us. And with immense development in information communication technology and artificial intelligence going to play a very crucial role in the coming times, we must introspect and rethink and re-strategize what would be the teaching pedagogy and teaching method for all of us. This is just not applicable only to law teachers. It is applicable to all teachers of all disciplines. But I would touch upon the theme of interface or interdisciplinary approach in teaching methods as well as pedagogy with a broad spectrum overview so that it can be made applicable for teachers of all disciplines and subjects. So with the context that we are in, the pandemic coming to an end, the new normal which is going to set in, the immense proliferation of the information communication technology and artificial intelligence, and India being a developing country with vast aspirations and developmental agendas, the crucial role that we have to play as teachers, as academicians, as researchers, as students, in all the situations of educational spaces, we have an immense role to play. It is at this juncture, when I see the title of the whole FDP for a week, that interdisciplinary approach to teaching methods and pedagogy, I find it most exciting, most interesting, and highly satisfying. I once again thank the Tamil Nadu National Law University to take this direction, especially with the Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Elizabeth, who is a great mentor for me and who has been supporting my interdisciplinary research for a very long time, and the whole team who is organizing this. With this important setting, in order to bring the attention and context for what we are going to discuss today for another 2 hours, I would like to outline the relationship between law, the legal system, the justice system, the state system, the constitution on one side, and religion, spirituality, the harmony, values, peace, and so on the other side. These two values, the legal values on one side, or to put in a simple way, the spiritual values on the other side, they may look distant and independent, as a result of which we may even conclude that they are not interconnectable. They cannot be interconnected. But that was the earlier trend of research, to see humanities as separate from science, or technology different from ethics. To put it in a simple way, social sciences different from humanities or arts. And in addition to these vocational subjects like legal profession, medical profession, chartered accountancy, or engineering, these are core professional knowledge and discipline and expertise on one side, to be divorced from knowledge of things which are deep to the human conscience, to the human consciousness. But that earlier trend of finding a dichotomy between two knowledge systems is no more applicable now, because we are living in an interdependent society where things are highly interconnected. To what level the interconnection has taken place, whether it is at the social level, political level, economic level, and how far it has happened, how far we need to achieve, these are separate things to be looked into by each and every discipline and the respective teachers and law and the subjects which they deal with, including the law subjects. But we must understand in the coming times, in the future case that we all need to make, it is my limited research and experience, having studied law and justice system and legal education and academics and research with a great passion on one side, and religion and spirituality coming from the family situation on the other side, I found both of them interconnecting at a deep level, and I found the source are one and the same. So how do we explore the relationship between law and spirituality, religion and justice? As a result of which, this can be one interesting example for interdisciplinary research, teaching method and pedagogy to find methods and opportunities to present the integration, which is exactly what the human society needs or the future humanity is in need of. To start with, we all know what law means. Let us take the highest example of law, that is the constitutional law of India. What does the constitutional law of India say at the outset? The broad picture, the broad spectrum overview. The preamble holds the value. The preamble of the Indian Constitution says, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to assure its citizens justice, that is social, economic, and political. And how do we achieve? Equality of status and opportunity, liberty, freedom of thought, speech, belief, expression, and so on. Fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual, unity, and integrity. These are the 7 values which are there. We the people, the social collectivity, we are together in the formation of a state. And the nature of the state is the social, secular, democratic, republic, and so on. But why did we form the state like this? Why did we give value to the constitution like this? Why did we create the constitution like this? Consciously, having resolved consciously to create a state like this, because we the people have to assure ourselves justice, that is at the social level, that is at the political level, that is at the economic level, that is at the processual level, where the constitution gives the structure. You have 3 lists: union list, state list, and concurrent list, whereby lawmaking agencies can make the law. If it goes beyond and excess of the constitution, ultra-vires of the constitution, the judiciary interprets, or the social transformation takes place and it impacts the parliament and so on. And as a result of which, unity and integrity and dignity of the individual and collective ought to be achieved. This is the aim of the constitution, and this is the outcome of the constitution. Keep in mind, aim is given by the constitution and the outcome is also shown, that what we need to achieve. In this interesting process of the constitution, we can see 2 things. One, the aim is fixed by all of us. We have fixed the aim for all of us. And the outcome is also for all of us, and we are going to enjoy the outcome of it. The aim is fixed by all of us, and the outcome is going to be enjoyed by all of us. What is the aim? Justice, social, economic, political. Equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, integrity. And the outcome is security of all those things. Enjoying the equality, enjoying the liberty, enjoying the fraternity, enjoying the dignity. This is the state of our situation. If we see the last line of the constitutional preamble, it says we have adopted this. We all people have consciously resolved to adopt these values. And then they have enacted it in the constitution. And then they have set the whole scene in motion for all of us so that we act. Otherwise, as such, having adopted these values, justice, social, economic, political, equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, and integrity, when we say we have adopted it, means it is already there. When do we adopt something? We take it for our own, having the responsibility from somewhere. That means the creation of those values, they are already there. Where is it there? That is the state of nature. That is what the universe is all about. That's what the human life is all about. That's what the human spirit is all about. Left to ourselves, we are supposed to be living in peace. We are supposed to be living in harmony. We are supposed to be living in liberty, which is equality, liberty, fraternity, having the dignity to ourselves, and living with unity and integrity, everything. So the aim is also an aim of what we already possess, but it has not yet come out. That's where the human civilization marches forward. There are scientific reasons for that. There are social reasons for that. There are technological reasons for that. There are religious reasons for that. There are spiritual reasons for that. We are not going to get into all those things. What we need to keep in mind is that Constitution has given us the goal. Constitution has set the aim and Constitution has set the output. And when we say Constitution has given us the goal, aim and the output, it is not top down, it is bottom up. It is horizontal. It is inward out. But since the situation is not exactly according to the state of nature in which we are inherently capable of, so we need to devise a mechanism to produce that. That's why Constitution has created three organs of the state: a legislative, an executive, a judicial. You also have law and social transformation through self-governance. And you have been given a detailed entries in the list 1, list 2, list 3, where who will have powers to legislate laws and how they can be interpreted, where confluence can take place, where confluence cannot take place. Everything is structured. Everything is limited and delimited, coherently thought of. We must keep this in mind. Constitution is not outside of us as a result of this thinking, as a result of this understanding. Because we consciously created the Constitution. That is why it says, we the people having solemnly resolved to constitute India. It is not past. It is not present. It is just not only future. It is continuous. We the people having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a. It is a continuing time factor in the space which is continuing without any disturbance, without any disconnection. This shows, as human individuals living in this planet, living in this time and space and reality, we have taken cognizance of something which is very vital to our life. What is that? We need to live with dignity. We need to live with harmony, fraternity. We need to enjoy the liberty, the freedoms. We need to enjoy the equality. And at the same time, it's just not only abstract and philosophical or thought value oriented. It is practical. So it has to come down to a level of social. It has to come down to the level of economic. It has to come down to the level of political. So this is the whole structure that is given to us because we created it and we have given to ourselves. That's what the preamble says. You read the preamble now today after this lecture, you will understand how deep it is. Not because the Constitution says, of course Constitution says, but because we made the Constitution talk to us. We made the Constitution impact us. We made the Constitution influence us. Now the question comes, are we fulfilling that? Are we satisfying and accomplishing the goal, the aim and outcome of the Constitution, which we have ourselves created consciously for all of us? The answer seems to be both yes as well as no. Yes, because in certain areas we have achieved. No, because we have not yet achieved in certain areas. That's where we need to get into different disciplines, different subjects, different law subjects, whatever subjects we are teaching. We need to find out whether our subject which we are teaching is entering into that aim and outcome, the goal of the Constitution. By doing that, by thinking on that itself, the interdisciplinary approach begins. Interdisciplinary is just not only about two subjects, say science and technology and law, or say psychology, history, economics and law, or say commerce and management and law. Yes, they are, but they all have to converge together for what purpose? For what outcome? The outcome is provided by the Constitution, which is an umbrella value, which we have set for ourselves. So important it is. You know, in our university, Gujarat National University, we have made the preamble into a huge poster in one of the rooms. Huge it is, say, more than 100 feet by 100 feet. So you can see that from any corner of the campus. So every time I used to pass by, wherever I turn my gaze this way or that way, I used to see that board. And it used to be written very clearly, we, the people of India. I used to read that very often. Who created this and how was it created and why we created it? Are we following it or not? That's exactly where my mind started spinning for me. Okay, I understood. Yes, the values are given. Yes, the principle is given. Yes, the outcome is shown. Yes, where we need to achieve. But where is the process with which we can do it? We have been given the roadmap, the aim, the outcome, the goal, and we ourselves gave that goal to us. But where is the tool and the process with which we need to do that? That tool can come only when we do the interdisciplinary research. That tool can come only when we take this interdisciplinarity into our own hands. When we see this, when we look at the Constitution like this, or when we look at our own subject like this, we automatically connect to the Constitution because Constitution is just not applicable only to law students or law subjects or law teachers. Constitution is for the whole state. Constitution is for the whole community. Constitution is for the whole humanity. Though Constitution is a positive law document, but what is there inside that law document is just not only to the legal system, it is law. That's where I used to distinguish the difference between law and legal system. We should not confuse between the two. Legal system is basically the statute, act, and so on. Law is a bigger role. Law is a bigger picture, the wider picture. Thereby, all subjects are encompassed in that wide domain called law, L-A-W, which means that which is always. That is the true meaning of law. That which is always, and that which will be. Because we cannot avoid it. As long as we are living in a time and space in which we cannot avoid the interdependences, there must be something, there ought to be something that must be binding all of us. That is the sense of the law. The bindingness is the sense of the law. As a result of that bindingness, when we do not follow it or when we violate it, obligations came into picture, rights and duties came into picture, legal system coming into picture, which tells what you should do, what you should not do, judiciary coming into picture, whether it is right or wrong to interpret, and then executive administration coming into picture to put things in place. So when we move from a mere legal system to a higher legal system, which is law, that is the constitution, you can understand all subjects are converging there, going there. There you cannot avoid interdisciplinary. Can you? You cannot. Even otherwise, if you see, the preamble also says justice, social, economic, and political. So social, economic, political, how many subjects are there in sociology? How many subjects are there in economic dimensions of society? How many subjects and disciplines of knowledge come out of the political processes? So all those are to be integrated. That integration is the interdisciplinary. How this interdisciplinary is having a borderline with cross-disciplinary on one side, or having a cross-discipline with multidisciplinary, transdisciplinary, and so on, that is totally a different matter. I'm not getting into that. But what you need to understand here is that every person, every teacher, irrespective of the discipline, need to understand this sense of the integration by connecting themselves to the constitution itself. So having understood, I worked out in my own way, having studied religion and spirituality in great length since my childhood, and philosophy, both Eastern and Western, to a very deep, down to the details, I felt that there needs to be something to be worked out. How do we do that? That's where I explored my sense of interdisciplinary, the law subject which I'm teaching. I connected it with the constitution through a process called spirituality and religion. As I have said, that constitution has given the purpose, constitution has given the aim, constitution has given the outcome, constitution has given the value, constitution has given the principles. But the process is there with each and every one, the respective subjects they are handling, and they are connecting with that. Keep in mind here, most important point, that this constitution, interdisciplinarity, law, religion is just not only applicable to teachers who are teaching only constitution. It is applicable to Indian Penal Code. It is applicable to CPC, CRPC. It is applicable to IPR and technology subjects. It is applicable to company law and everything. I can show across all the law subjects some element of spirituality always there. I did a small research on that. So not only law and other law subjects, other than law subjects, non-law subjects, there is no such a thing as non-law. Maybe non-legal subjects can be called non-law. It's not possible. Technically not possible. So other than law subject, other than legal subjects and non-legal subjects, in terms of law, every subject is coming into the picture. And when we say in terms of law, every subject coming into the picture, including the non-legal subjects, you obviously cannot avoid even within the legal system subjects, even within the law subjects. How many subjects we teach under the Bar Council mandate, law subjects that we teach, all of them have some kind of a connection with the greater values, which is equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, integrity, justice, social, economic, and political. If you wear the goggle of these 7 values from the constitutional preamble, you will see almost all subjects crisscrossing. How do you untangle it and put it back and harmonize it and connect it with the constitution? It is in your hand. Now, having said this, I will show how I have done it in my own limited way. So, having understood law, having understood legal system, having understood the constitutional values, the goal, aim, and outcome and the process, I was wondering, how do we do that? That's exactly I connected with spirituality and religion. So now let's move to the next subject, which is spirituality. After explaining what is spirituality and religion, I will show the interconnection that is happening there. So spirituality means what? A simple understanding of spirituality means knowing the purpose of what this is all about. The meaning of life, the meaning of existence, the meaning of this world. Even if you are not a God believer, even if you are an agnostic and atheistic, still you will probe the purpose of life. Because when you live in this world and when you are working in this world, when you are using your mind, when you are using your emotion, when you are using your senses and the body, and when you are interacting with your family members, when you are interacting with your colleagues in the university, when you are walking to a particular place, maybe a shopping mall or a railway station or an airport, there is always a constant interchange, an exchange of energies that are taking place. Why it is happening like this, or what is it that is happening there, and how is it that it has been made into a system of life like this? Who created all these things? How it evolved like all these things? Whether you find out the answer or not, whether you accept one answer or not, but that journey and that inquiry is very important. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of my existence? What is this world around? What is this existence around? What is this reality in which time and space they exist, coexist? It's so beautiful. Even the hardcore scientists and technologists, they like to plumb these deep thoughts affecting the humankind. So in this entire space, this time and reality, this universe, you have the human nature, the human kingdom, then you have the animal kingdom, then you have the plant vegetal kingdom, then you have the mineral kingdom, and so on. So you are there, animals live on one side, plants are there on the other side, and the whole earth, the minerals that are there in this whole earth, in this time and space. When we study all these things, of course, currently we are studying only animal kingdom or only plant kingdom or only mineral kingdom or only human kingdom. Or some even go to the extent that we will study only the human kingdom, what is called anthropocentrism, speciesism. They don't want to discuss animals, they don't want to discuss the flora and fauna and the other things. But then sustainable development came and they are forcing us to integrate the flora and fauna with the human kingdom. Biologists on the other side, the earth researchers on the other side, called the earth jurisprudence and so on. They are coming on the other side. They say that we have to study all, otherwise there is no purpose in life. You cannot study one because we all are interconnected. So the modern science and technology gives us an understanding. There is an integration between the human kingdom, animal kingdom, plant kingdom, the vegetal kingdom, and the mineral kingdom. So the human life, the flora and the fauna life, and the mineral life, there is a deep, intricate, invisible interconnection. Invisible only to our biological eyes, but it is visible. It is there. Now, when we see this, something interesting emerges in this situation. Please pay rapt attention here because something very important is emerging here for us. When we say that human kingdom is living with animal kingdom, living with plant vegetal kingdom, living with the mineral kingdom, in this time and space, they are just not only living, but they are actually coexisting, and we should not disturb that. That is what the sustainability is all about. Why we should not disturb it? Because we all are interconnected to each other. There emerges the big picture. A very interesting picture comes out. What is that? Oh, there is an unity in this. Oh, not only that there exists a unity, but there also exists a multiplicity. Not only unity and multiplicity, but also a mutuality exists. So what do you see in this? In the overall situation, when we explore the purpose of life, the purpose of existence, the purpose of the reality of this whole world and so on, in this time and space, we understand that these four major kingdoms, of course, only major, there are a lot of them are there, the human kingdom, the flora and the fauna, and the mineral kingdom, in this seemingly are apparently not interconnected to our biological eyes, but the modern science and technology reveals that there is an interconnection which is invisible to us. And in this interconnection, we see a brilliant unity. We see a brilliant multiplicity. We see a brilliant mutuality. This makes us think differently. So the three things that are coming out, that are standing out, what are those three things? Unity, multiplicity, and mutuality. The unity, multiplicity, and mutuality, these three things that stand out in the invisible interrelationship that exists in the human kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the mineral kingdom, and so on. If you see these three essential elements, unity, multiplicity, and mutuality, you know, what do we understand? Unity is nothing but living with the sense of being unified, the oneness. Multiplicity means each and everything having its own sense of autonomy, the freedom. Mutuality means each and everything is living in a coexistential harmony. So what does this mean? Unity means the sense of unified oneness. Multiplicity means the sense of the liberty and autonomy. Mutuality means the sense of the collective harmony. If you take it to quickly to the legal level, the constitutional level, you see, unity is actually equality. Multiplicity is liberty. Mutuality is harmony, fraternity. So what Indian Constitution says that we all have to achieve equality, liberty, fraternity. And when the constitutional preamble itself says that we have adopted these values for us and enshrined it in the Constitution, that presupposes a very inherent, beautiful thought that the Constitution relies on a factor of the truth of existence of all of us. The human kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, and the mineral kingdom, in which the unity, multiplicity, mutuality exists, which at the constitutional level, it has come to the level of equality, liberty, fraternity. So what you see when you explore the idea of what this existence is all about, reality is all about, we found out unity, multiplicity, and mutuality, as a result of which the human kingdom, which is living in the social existence, social collectivity, they are supposed to bring that same unity in terms of social equality. Currently, the social equality is only applicable to the human life, which is also a very diminutive way of thinking. We need to move ahead. Environmentalists and sustainability scientists will agree, and they are actually making us think that way. So what we see as multiplicity, the freedom of things, is actually the liberty in the Constitution. Liberty of thought, expression, faith, belief, worship. Still, it is only at the social level and human level for us, but it has to move still deeper if you want to achieve. So what you see, the mutuality from life itself is nothing but the fraternity at the social level. No matter it is still only existing at the social existence level. So when we explore what is life, when we explore what is time, when we explore what is reality, we get to the bottom of three elements, which is unity, multiplicity, and mutuality. That is the spirituality. Spirituality is nothing but that, unity, which in the religious angle they call it compassion and love and peace. Multiplicity, we call it as the freedoms, the inherent freedom that every soul has, that every self enjoys. We use the word self for us, by the way. We say myself, himself, herself. What is that self? Human nature agreeable, understandable, because there is a human anatomy and a body and there is a nature to it. But then we also say human being. Where is the being? There is no definition for being. Being means that which is being. What form it exists is according to that situation. And it will keep changing. Similarly, we also use the word self. So why I am drawing these kind of minute nuances is to make us think that we need to think radically. How do we fulfill the Constitution? By seeing from our own the subject we teach. So to come back quickly, when we explore the reality, when we explore time and space, when we want to understand what this human life is all about, the purpose of it, the outcome of it, the meaning of it, that is the question, fundamental question, the transformational question in which you get to understand that you are also in the center of this universe, you are also in the center of this existence. Time and space is also surrounding you, inside you and outside you, as a result of which from all those things, from this center of time and space and this center of universe, this planet and this whole earth and the whole consciousness of it, we get to the understanding of the unity, multiplicity and mutuality. So we need to bring it in ourselves and in relation to our human life, family members, university, organization, society and anywhere and everywhere. The same unity gets expressed in terms of equality. The same multiplicity gets expressed in terms of liberty. The same mutuality gets expressed in terms of harmony, fraternity. So the idea that the Constitution has, we, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to assure its citizens justice, social, economic, political, liberty of thought, freedom of speech, faith, expression, belief, and worship, equality of status and opportunity, and fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual, unity and integrity of the nation, we adopt hereby and enact. So it is we who have consciously made this plan with the highest ideal that we are capable of. It is because it exists inside us, we thought of it. Nobody can say that these values can be limited or curtailed. It's not possible. Why we cannot curtail fundamental values, fundamental rights? Of course, subject to public order and decency and so on. Some exceptions are there. Your fundamental values, these fundamental elements and values are, in terms of Constitution, it is called fundamental rights under Part 3, cannot be curtailed or restricted. They are part of the basic structure. Why? Because we have not created it. That which we have not created it, we cannot amend it, we cannot destroy it, we cannot tamper with it. Only thing is that we will deal with it when it comes to such an extent that by exercising your own freedom, you are disturbing others. Then law has to play a very serious role. But as such, otherwise, these fundamental values, which we derived from our own nature, which we derived from our own question and inquiry and answer that we got from this whole reality, space and time and so on, where the unity, multiplicity and mutuality got reflected in the human thinking as equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, and integrity. Now you can understand the connection between spirituality on one side, Constitution on the other side. Now you may wonder, is this what spirituality is all about? Yes, of course. Spirituality means you are in that sense of union with yourself and with everyone. That's why we say those who have the spiritual realization or the self-realization, they say they see God in all because there is one God. who is there in everyone. So those are all mental metaphors we use in order to explain a thing. That is explanation. But the experience is there in the sense of unity and oneness. If you have the sense of oneness and unity, you are spiritual by nature. Matter ends. If you understand the multiplicity of the energies and the freedoms that coexist continuously, you are spiritual by nature. If you understand the harmony of life simultaneously at all levels, you are spiritual by nature. Since we have not yet understood that, because we have not yet experienced that, the religion gives a formula. Each and every religion, each and every tradition, each and every civilization and culture, according to their geographical situation, according to their resources, according to their customs and habits, temperature, food, and everything, with the available materials, resources, and their thought patterns and their capabilities and functions, they created a certain format in order to reach there, to that source of unity, multiplicity, and mutuality. What we have done, we used religion, we are supposed to use religion to pass through that to that state of consciousness of unity, multiplicity, and mutuality, which when we achieve, automatically in our social life, equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, integrity will be achieved. Since we are struggling here in this operative mode of the process, we got locked into the process of the religion. We are not seeing the benefit of it, which is in the culmination of the experience. So we are using religion as a ladder for us, but it must be a ladder. How long can you be climbing the rungs of the ladder up and down? We need to climb the rungs of the ladder one by one and go to that state of consciousness, go to that state of spirituality, go to that state of spiritual awareness in which the values of unity, multiplicity, and mutuality dawns inside you, the self-realization, which when we come back to the society, come back to our family, come back to the organization, go back to our university and do our research at work, go to our class and teach all those things, we naturally emit those radiations of unity, which automatically results in equality at the space level wherever we are. When we have that sense of multiplicity and freedom, seeing the continuity of things, automatically liberty is enjoyed without curtailing, without disturbing others. And when we have that sense of harmony inside, mutuality inside, fraternity automatically develops. This is the context. So when we go deep into spirituality, through whatever religion that you belong. So people would sometimes ask me in my training programs, so which religion we should follow? Follow whatever religion that you belong to. Follow whatever tradition that you want to follow. But do not give up the core elements of your own religion in which unity, multiplicity, and mutuality exists. Because these are the core principles, not derived by human mind. Please keep this in mind. This unity, multiplicity, and mutuality is not derived by human mind. It is not a human imagination. It is not a human fascination. It is the bottom reality of our life. It is the bottom reality of this time and space of this entire planetary consciousness. Science is also coming to that. Technology is also slowly exploring all those things. Even the domain of psychology, psychotherapy, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnotherapy, which I studied in great length, in order to understand all those things, they are also coming to this level. They are saying that all human illnesses, human disorders, personality disorders, or diseases or illnesses, or the problems that we get in human life, is precisely because of this division in our thinking, division in our emotion, because of the division in our senses, division in our body. It is this division cuts the energies into pieces, as a result of which fatigue comes into picture, as a result of which health gets spoiled, as a result of which you worn out very easily, wear and tear takes place very fast, as a result of which disease or illnesses or disorder come into picture. So when we explore our own universe, when we explore our own time and reality and space, and the meaning of all these things, the purpose of this existence, the why of all these things, the how of all these things, we get to the bottom reality of the mutuality, unity, multiplicity. And we cannot just be with that alone in our thinking, in our experience. We need to live. We need to come back to the world. We need to go to the classroom in our university lectures. We need to go to the library and do research. So when we go there, when we teach, when we interact with students, when we interact with our own colleagues, when we take up a particular project or research or writing a book or article or a training program, we consciously make a choice to bring that. How do we do that? The practical aspects of it is there in each and every religion. In one religion, it can be yoga. In another religion, it can be this. Again, words change here and there, but the fundamental structure and process is one and the same. The human mind can say it is this here, it is that there. It is the mind which is giving that different orientation. The experience is same. I have seen many people who have had spiritual experiences in under different religions, who are not just spiritual people. They are also in the field of teaching, profession, corporate, research, social action, and so on. So when we closely discuss, we obviously come to clear terms. Oh, okay, the experience is the same. Oh, you call it by this name. Oh, we call it by this name. Okay. So you are using this particular metaphor for explaining this. Oh, okay. I'm using this particular metaphor for explaining this. Metaphors may change. History may show a different pathway. But the time has come now for all of us to quickly pass through this in order to reach the state of experience in which, on one side, you are fulfilling your own existence, the reason of why we are here. And for those who are in the university system of education and career and job and research, and for those who are in the field of law and other subjects, they cannot avoid this. Especially law teachers, I always tell them that we have a much more powerful tool, because law is the operating thing. I'm not putting any rank between law and non-law. As I have said, there is no such a thing as law and non-law. Only legal and non-legal can be called, or outside legal can be called, because some are having statutes and acts, some may not have. But everything comes under the domain of law, including the legal statutes and acts and rules and regulations. So law is the paramount, umbrella, overarching philosophy and practice. So, to come back, so whatever religion that we are following, we need to identify these three elements. And these three elements are the most satisfying one. When we recognize the unity of things, when we recognize the multiplicity of things, when we recognize the mutuality of things, your personal life is taken care of, your professional life is taken care of, your career is taken care of, your research is taken care of. What more do you need? Here, there is no distinction or dichotomy between life and world, between personal life and professional life, career and spiritual life or religious life. It's so interesting, is it not? Any subject you tell me, I can tell and find out a spiritual element there. Take the case of corporate law. Why they came up with the idea of giving a particular portion of your profit for social development. They call it a social responsibility, corporate social responsibility. Why is it like that? What is there to do with the society? You take care of the resources, you exploit the resources, you do research, you do technology support to that, you make profits out of it. You have to give back something to the society. Why? Is it an idea, a moral idea, or an ethical idea? Though they may fall under that, but it is much more than that. Much more than that means what you appropriate from the resources of the earth is just not yours because you have not created it. It is created by the mother nature. So everyone has the share of it. Though they may not get the major share of it, you must give something for their development. Take the case of intellectual property right. After a point of time, your intellectual property right can come under public policy for public good. Of course, Indian Penal Code deals largely with non-injury, no injury for others. Tort also says no injury for others. Administrative law says that when you are taking a particular rule or a regulation, it has to be reasonable, it has to be rational, it has to be appropriate, it has to be proportional. Reasonable, rational, appropriate, proportion. They are all nothing but balance, the balancing factor, the harmony. Any subject you take is there. Take the case of tax. Take the case of management subjects. Management is all about organizing things to get the maximum out of everything and to share equally with everyone. So we are seeing a trend right now in all subjects and disciplines of knowledge. All are pushed by circumstances. All are pushed by certain circumstances or situations, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, whether you think that you can push it out or get succumbed to it or not. We all are pushed to move towards some sense of a solidarity, some sense of a collectivity. Some project it as a social collectivity. Some project it as an economic collectivity. Some project it as a political collectivity. Some project it as a legal collectivity. But everyone is talking about the collectivity right now. Nobody is avoiding it. So, what you need to understand here is that, so whatever subjects that you are teaching, you have to identify these three elements. Of course, from the point of view of the Constitution, equality, liberty, fraternity, dignity, unity, and integrity. Your law subject or your subject, anything other than the non-legal subjects, other than the legal subjects, you have to bring these five elements there. Why you have to bring it? That is what the Constitution says. How it says, we the people having solemnly resolved to constitute, which means we all have consciously done it, wanted it, wanting it, always wanting it. So we have to give meaning to what we are seeing. You have to think this way. So whatever subjects that you are doing, whatever research that you are doing, whatever subjects you are teaching, dealing with, you need to think in this direction. Then the whole subject falls into a pattern. Then the whole subject falls into some kind of a clear roadmap of how do you want to project this subject. That's exactly the crux of the interdisciplinary. As such, everything is by nature interdisciplinary. It is our mind which has created the departments of knowledge like science, technology, psychology, one subject, law, one subject, economics, one subject, history, one subject, political science, one subject. Otherwise, you go deeper and deeper and deeper into any aspect of knowledge, you'll get into the bottom of the interdisciplinarity. Because currently the interdisciplinary is still fighting as if it is my camp and your camp. I have to look at you from this way, you have to look at me in this way, and they both are still struggling to find the unity of things. Because from the knowledge that we have so far gathered in one particular subject and the knowledge that we have gathered in another particular subject so far that we have gathered from both these domains to arrive at unity, you cannot arrive at unity from here because you have to arrive at unity from inside. Because at the inner level, it actually unites. You dig into law, you will find sociology. Still you dig into sociology, you will find economics. Still you go deeper, you will find human psychology. Still you go deeper, you will find religion. Still you go a little deeper, you will find customs. Still you go a little deeper, you will face the whole eternity of life. Oh my God, what is this? Something boils down to a fundamental rational question of self and spirit. What is this all about? That's exactly originally the civilization started. That's exactly where all great self-realized people created that for all of us, whom we worship in respective religions. But we have forgotten that. We are thinking life is all about just social, economic, political, so on. So I used to say, in the constitution itself, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into the nature of a state and assure and secure its citizens justice, social, economic, political, justice which is social, economic, and political. Among these three-pronged strategy, we need to include two more. I have been saying this, psychological. So justice, social, economic, political, and one more is psychological, and one more is spiritual. It solves the problem. Last 6 years, I have been saying this. Because you cannot avoid. Do you think human being is only social, economic, and political? You want to avoid completely the psychology, the psychotherapy, the neurological process, the neurobiological process, the neurosocial processes that are recently discovered, how you behave, how your neurons act in your brain is a product of social circumstances. They are finding the deep interconnections between the two. You got it. So find out your own domain of specialization and connect them with these three elements and connect them with, I'm not saying everybody should take spirituality into their domain. Either you take spirituality or take the constitutional value. I took the constitutional value because of my interdisciplinarity was starting from spirituality and religion and philosophy and Western and Eastern and so on, because I was trained in that. So it became easy for me. So what are you trained with? If you are a person deeply interested in science and technology, deeply interested in other social sciences and humanities and art subject, then you have to find the gateway there. And I'm also telling you one interesting success strategy, secret tips here. Please pay attention to it. Henceforth, in the future times of the education, the pedagogy, the methods involved, this integration of knowledge is going to be the way. You cannot avoid. You cannot say that I will teach only this subject. Yeah, you teach only this subject, no problem. But you cannot say I will not go beyond this. Because all the social, economic, political angle of any knowledge of any subject can be dealt by artificial intelligence right now. But they may not be able to handle the integration of knowledge that happens at the experiential level. Artificial intelligence can only feed, extrapolate, digest the facts as fed upon. But they cannot experience or give something which is experiential in nature. It is not possible. Because they operate based on a language which is decipherable for them. Currently, the semantics and the linguistics, which play a very crucial role with the coding system, as and when it goes into it, so it matches the patterns. So these are the words. If you want to do an artificial intelligence research into Indian constitutional law and Article 14, the keyword is very clear. What is Article 14? The entire Article 14 can be typed and stored, and it can be encoded into the artificial intelligence, and it will search for all the documents from the Supreme Court or High Court, wherever you want, Indian jurisdiction or any other jurisdiction, such words which have a pattern with these words, string of words. But it will not be able to identify the difference between a petitioner who is a farmer from a rural place or a petitioner who is a multi-billionaire. It will only say there is a petitioner. It will even say this petitioner has $100 million in his bank account. This petitioner has no bank account, but he lives just by plowing the fields. Okay. That information also can be fed into, and we can get that. But can it explain the agony of the petitioner and the petition and the relief that he or she is seeking? That argument, who can do it? Mind mapping can be done, but emotional mapping cannot be done. Here I need to tell you, we have underrated the emotion a lot, and we have confused that with sentiment. Emotion is very important. Emotion is the heart of values, all values. Emotion gives the understanding. In fact, I used to say mind gives the understanding. Emotion gives the forestanding. It's just not emotion understands. Sorry, mind understands. Mind is basically a sensory network bank. All the sensory experiences which we have get stored there. As a result of which we say we understand. Understand means below that sensory network data bank, everything below that. That's why we say it is understanding. It is understanding. But in emotion, you don't need understanding. You need forestanding. A mother understands how a child will behave tomorrow. But mentally also, a mother can understand how you will, how you have behaved before. That is understanding. So forestanding is a word we need to introduce. I have been feeling that. Anyways, to come back to our point, even because of this artificial intelligence coming into the play, and also the information communication technology coming into play, all the knowledges which we are teaching from different subjects can also be easily replicated. But no one can replicate the sense of harmony. No one can replicate, or nothing can be replicated through AI or ICT, the sense of oneness, the feeling of oneness, the feeling of harmony. That feeling has to be human-oriented. As a result of which, and ICT and AI coming to play a huge role in the coming times, teachers like us, we have no other goal except following an interdisciplinary method. I'm not here to explain what is interdisciplinary method. You all know that because there are a lot of ifs and buts in that. There are a lot of nuances that go into it, where interdisciplinary start, where it moves to cross-disciplinary, where it moves to multidisciplinary, where sometimes it becomes transdisciplinary and all those things. That's why I use the word integration. Integration is a combination of all these to me. So to come back, so each and every law teacher can take the subject they are dealing with, teaching with, researching about. Find out the core values of the Constitution associated with that subject and how your subject is dealing with that. And how your subject is dealing with the constitutional values, that how itself is the starting process of the integration, is the starting process of the interdisciplinarity. That's how it is. Before I move to the last section of the talk here, I would like to ask here Professor Amrutalingam, in case any questions are there, I can take it up so that I would have little time to explain if questions are there. Otherwise, I can go to the final section of it. Are you there, Professor Amrutalingam?
Respected participants, if you have any questions, please post your questions in the chat box. Otherwise, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Yes. Because sometimes
Sir,
questions. Yes,
So
please.
good
Yes.
morning, sir. This is Dr. Ambika. I am Dr. Ambika Arnair from EIT Law School, sir. So
Thanks.
as a It's good to hear from you regarding spirituality and law, sir. So my question, it is not like a question, it is a curiosity, we can call it. So after this pandemic, we are on to online portals for classes or any other thing. From the small kids to adults, we are doing it. So, so that is a technological aspects, right, sir? So how do you connect that thing to spirituality?
Yeah. This is
Yes,
a
sir.
great challenge. Good that it is. This question is also important to be handled because I have been facing this question for a very long time. How do we manage the online mode of teaching and online mode of pedagogy and in addition to that, the interdisciplinarity? We need to keep in mind this is a situation beyond our control. We are not getting into what is pandemic, how it came, and all those things. That is none of our concern right now. Since we can handle only the teaching right now, and since we are all the particular carrier, we need to find out how do we make it effective. By making it effective, we can fulfill our teaching goal and derive satisfaction out of it. I have understood in my limited experience in the last 2 years of handling the online mode of teaching. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that students who are on the other side, whether you see them online or not, whether they are present in the video or not, whether they are being present there or not, the point we need to keep in mind is that we need to self-empower ourselves through self-inspiration and through self-motivation. I know it is not that easy for all of us to just look at the desktop and talk as if we are talking to 100 students. It's not that easy because we are facing it for the first time. And there is no previous experience or people who have experienced this to tell us how do we do that. But the very fact that when we want to know, when we want to do that, we want to give a lecture to students who are present online, their visibility is not open to us. So we need to self-motivate ourselves that we are giving lecture. How do we do that? Only one thing that holds success strategy is the practice. The practice means we have to self-imagine, we have to self-motivate that we are giving the lecture like this. There is no other substitute for this. One method of talking, I have shared this with a few people. If that is the question that which you are asking, that is, how do we make the classes effective? It boils down to, we are not very confident whether they are listening to us or not. We are not very sure whether we are looking at them or not. That's where the crucial question comes. What you can do is that there is this exercise called mirror exercise. You can sit in front of the mirror and look at the mirror yourself and start talking. You will blush immediately. You will smile. You will giggle. You may forget. Perfectly fine, but that's how one starts. It may look like as if you are self-talking. People may even laugh at you. What are you doing? They may not know what you are doing because it is for your profession that you are doing. But over a period of time, your concentration slowly gets focused. Initially, you will be looking at your face while talking. Then you will be having a doubt on your own confidence, whether you are talking correctly or not. Then you will be identifying your own smile, you will be identifying your own dress and so on. But slowly, after a point of time, you will start concentrating on the knowledge that you are delivering. So this mirror exercise is a very powerful exercise because it gives you the same opportunity of handling an online class in the same way you sit before a mirror and start talking. This is one simple exercise to connect with students from your side, that you become confident that you are connecting with the student. Now, after getting the preliminary connection in which you feel confident that you are delivering an online lecture, no matter the visibility of the online student is present or not, visible to you or not. The second thing that comes after the connection, the confidence, after the connection, the confidence is the content that you are delivering. The content that you are delivering must be a content that which you have experienced. Please keep in mind the current generation, the students, all are well versed with all kinds of information. But how do you convert that information into a knowledge is with the teacher who is doing it. Because everybody is having the information. The moment I say I am teaching law and spirituality, people will simply Google about me, my name, TNNLU, law and spirituality. Some old training brochures will come out, some old materials will come out, some articles will come out. People will read that and they will start asking questions and they will expect what I am doing, what lecture I am giving. So unless and until I have an experience of what I am talking, it's just not information, because everyone is well informed. Everyone is information efficient. Everyone comes to the desktop, looks at the WebEx links or Zoom links, knowing very well what is the topic that you are going to cover. What are the challenges that are there? You should be able to talk convincingly only when you have that experience from which comes the confidence. Confidence is nothing but leading. Confidence is nothing but guiding. Confidence is nothing but putting things in perspective. So the mirror exercise is very important to get the connect. Even 2-3 years before, when webinars started, I also felt a little odd. What is this? I have to look at desktop and talk. I don't know whether people are listening to me or not, whether people are making fun of me or not. I don't know. So I used to have this kind of doubts. And when I used to have doubts, suddenly I may forget also a particular point to be told. Or I used to keep a screenshot here, I used to keep a PPT here, and I used to move here and there. Everything used to happen. But then I slowly realized, okay, I have no problem with my knowledge. I have little experience and I am planning to grow. I have large scope for improvement and I am humble enough to grow. And I need confidence to carry out this, because this mirror exercise gives me the confidence, as same as the online webinar lectures. It's almost like a mirror I'm seeing all of it. So, two things that we require in the online method of education is that, one, mirror exercise, and two, what you speak must be experiential in kind. Third, a connection which this particular teacher has asked, if you bring interdisciplinary, that gives a new excitement to students to listen to. That's why I said this, with ICT coming into picture, with artificial intelligence coming into picture, everyone is well informed. But you have to convert that information into a knowledge which can come only by experience. So, gather experience of what you are teaching. The delivery point, you take it by the mirror exercise. This is my simple suggestion. Is it clear, madam?
Sir, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
It's not like challenging and all, just a curiosity how to attach spirituality into it, sir.
Yeah, spirituality is the interdisciplinary. Okay. To bring
Yes, sir.
spirituality into that is, it's also a knowledge, it's also an experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What I spoke for 1 hour 30 minutes, connecting spirituality with law,
Yes, sir.
is basically an experience which I had, which I am communicating. And while communicating, having the confidence and the delivery comes by the mirror exercise, which I have told you, and the experience which I had. See, nobody can dispute somebody's experience.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can say the jacket that I am wearing is green or purple. You can doubt that. I can also doubt your perception of it. How come you are saying it is red in color? It is not red. It is marine green. But you cannot doubt my experience when I say I am happy.
Yes, sir.
Because the experience is inner. It's internal. So when you have the experience, the confidence automatically comes. And the delivery point is only a simple exercise which you can do. The point here is that interdisciplinary gives that scope for you at the moment, because of artificial intelligence and ICT coming on a large way. We have no other way. You cannot just repeat what is already there in a textbook. Unless and until you convert that information into a knowledge by virtue of experience. For me, experience comes from the spirituality and religion and philosophy domain, and I'm connecting with law, which is also an experience for me. So it is the experience that matters to me, which I'm communicating with a relative confidence, which I've gathered over a period of time.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. We need spirituality because due to the chaotic life which we are leading nowadays, sometimes online, sometimes offline, so much
Yes.
of tensions. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for
Yes,
your.
yes. There is one interesting exercise that also, if you, since you say this, we need a spirituality, it's nothing. Just sit quietly in the place wherever you are. Think of unity. Think of love. Feel the love. Feel the unity. Feel the harmony. Think of harmony and then feel the harmony. And while interacting with people in the house, while interacting with your colleagues in the university, while interacting with students, have that thought, have that feeling, have that experience and express it. People will understand. Nobody can deny love. Nobody can deny compassion. Nobody can deny peace. Though they may not be proved, but it is experiential, which nobody can doubt. Okay. So that's the easiest way to start with. It is
Yes.
also helpful to your own career and helpful to your own research that sitting quietly, I always do that in my office space before I go to class. I just sit quietly for 5 to 10 minutes. Think of love, think of the golden opportunity that I have got in the university as a teacher. I'm meeting some 200 students on a daily basis. I will be talking and they will be listening. What thoughts I should have to talk, how I should promote good values. These are all very nice, genuine, sweet feelings. But we are forgetting it. But we need to revive that. And it can be done. Everything can be done if we want, if we know, if we want, and if we will it. It happens to us. More on this, you can write to me. I will respond to that. Thank you very much. Any other question?
Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have a question. Myself, Gino, I'm Korean.
Yes, please.
Sir, sir, when we connect law to religion, and as you have explained, like when we explain it, connecting to spirituality. So my concern is like when we explain it within the limited knowledge what we have, we may always incline towards a particular religion and its beliefs or its thoughts. It may happen. So it may result in a challenge before the students, right? I mean, if we are trying to connect it with a particular religion and its thoughts, so that can be a challenge. That is my view. I'm expressing it as like how we can overcome that to reach a level like we can connect it with the universality of religions or its principles. That is what we can call it as spirituality, I believe. On the other side, like what I have one experience, like when I was reading Probation of Offenders Act, I thought this is something like more than what we believe in a normal kind of laws or acts. Like when we are going to punish, in the case of probation of offenders, we are trying to heal them, heal their soul or their inner human being, right? So that is what we are trying to do in a Probation of Offenders Act. But that is not having that much acceptance, I guess, in India, but not in, but not like this in Western countries. They are having more acceptance for these kinds of concepts, probation of offenders and all. So this is also something I want to place before you. I would like to know your thoughts.
Very good. This is exactly what I was about to explain in the final part of it. I quickly say that now, having studied the relationship between spirituality and law, and having known the interdisciplinary approach to pedagogy and teaching methods and the value of it and the context in which we are in and the future pace that it is going to have for our teaching. Do you think this spirituality is not there in our legal system? It is there. I found out 45 instances from all over the world. In India also, I found few instances. Number one, quickly I will give you. There are so many, but I will quickly bring different perspectives to that. Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code, which was given a new interpretation. Discrimination on the ground of same sexuality. So the point is that in the Indian Penal Code, that simply because a sexual orientation of a particular person is different from the rest of the others, he or she should not be discriminated. Now tell me, this Indian Penal Code came in the year 1860 and this particular judgment came from the Supreme Court in 2017. So is it a rocket science or a deep sea mining science that we did not know it? We knew it. That a person cannot be discriminated simply because he is having a different feeling or a different orientation. You may like same sexuality, you may not like it. It may be your personal preference and choice. Nobody is going to impose it on you. But that does not mean you will ridicule somebody in public space or you will curtail his freedom in public space, which means you cannot discriminate. So the equality and the fraternity from the preamble, which we saw under Article 14 as well as Article 21, strikes at the root of this discriminatory approach which we had. So in spiritual understanding, we go even to the extent of saying that the gender is only at the reproductive and biological level. Beyond that and behind that, the soul is one and the same. The soul is genderless and it is beyond. The answer is straight. For a spiritual, experiential person, a person coming before him or her, in the spiritual experience prism in which he is looking at that person, there cannot be any differentiation that he is a male or a female. That male or a female is only a question of a reproductive gender, not discrimination, but differentiation. But beyond that, there is nothing. Very simple it is. We have reached that solution very fast. But we took more than 150 years to arrive at it. That's where we lost moorings, the anchor towards the spiritual values. Had we had that in the social system itself, we could have avoided the discrimination that happened from 1860 to till 2017, the Supreme Court judgment. So spirituality can give you a new interpretation. 377 is one example of it. Another example I will give you from a legal system point. This is from the judicial interpretation. From the legal system point of view, take the case of the Indian Penal Code 309. Suicide provision that is decriminalized because the suicide cannot be allowed because life and death is not in our hands. It is outside our domain. If life and death is there in our hand, then by thinking, then by feeling, we should be able to die or be born. Why, when one person wants to die, he is not able to die? Why? That means he is different from his thought. He is different from his feeling. If somebody feels, no, I don't want to live, I feel like dying, but he is not dying at all. He is just sitting and breathing. That means there is something else in him which is making him breathe. So in order to bring death, he has to do something forcibly into the body, which will suffer pain and it will die. So which is unnatural. So decriminalization happened. Section 309 of the Indian Penal Code. But then what the government did under the Mental Health Care Act is that section 115, there are two provisions of that. They said that those who attempt to commit suicide and fail in that attempt, they cannot be punished. They need to be given treatment. What treatment? They need to be given therapeutic counseling. They need to be given therapeutic treatment. The therapeutic treatments are there. Whether it is functioning properly in the existing system or where it is functioning well, that is subject to a different domain of discussion. I am not getting into that. But what we need to understand here is that legal system can also be compassionate like this. Instead of punishing a person who is wanting to die and who attempted to die and he could not die, you are again punishing him. He is already in a state of punishment that he doesn't want to live. You may wonder, sir, why is it to live or not to live is a question of reward or punishment? Of course, they say that when a person goes through intense identity crisis, the thoughts about suicide come into picture. Who says this? Diagnostic Statistical Manual, the 5th edition says so. Because the origin of life, the purpose of life is to perpetuate life. You take the case of a small plant. You sow it in the seed, you sow it in a pot, and it starts sprouting. And you hide the sunshine of it. It actually bends to grow and find the sunlight. Even for a small plant, if it is like this, what about a human being who is fully accomplished in terms of 5 senses and so on, including the 6th sense and the spiritual sense? So from a spiritual understanding, death happens by itself. You cannot enforce death. You cannot bring death. So this is the legal system skill. The state can also be compassionate and loving, which is also a spiritual role that state has. Judiciary also played a crucial role in removing 377. Take the case of sustainable development. All over the world, people are now coming very close to understand. So like this, there are so many instances I have found, 45 instances from all over the world I found, that people are now thinking of the social, the political, the economic. In addition to that, they are also thinking of the psychological, the spiritual, though they may not be using the word spiritual. They are talking about unity, mutuality, multiplicity, which is nothing but equality, liberty, fraternity. And not just only for the human self and human habitation, which is anthropocentrism, but also beyond that. Take the case of animal rights coming into picture. Take the case of plant rights coming into picture. Take the case of rivers having rights of its own coming into picture. These are all indications, I agree. They are not great in number. But how do we make it great in number? How do we increase the quantity of it? You and me having to do that work. Because we are in the realm of law. We are in the realm of teaching. We are in the realm of research. If we do not do it, we will do it. Got it? So the point is, from a judicial, yes, Gino, I have to answer one part of your question. I will come to that. So we all have to do that task. So connect your subject with the constitution. If you don't know, if you don't belong to the constitutional domain, go and seek the assistance of the teacher who teaches constitution and find out what is preamble. Start reading the basic steps about preamble. Take some constitutional law book, text, read that, find out how it is connected to your own subject. You can easily find out that. And by doing it, you are fulfilling an important response. Now, coming to the second part of your question, when we teach religion in a class setting where people or where students will be sitting there with the diverse backgrounds coming from different religious backgrounds. That is why I'm saying stress on the fundamentals of the religions. All religions spoke about unity. All religions spoke about multiplicity. All religions spoke about mutuality. Are they not? So when we speak about religion only from the social, structural, economic, political point of view, differences may exist and that may lead to some kind of disharmony situation. Understandable. But we are not here to discuss the resources and the tools which various civilizations at various points of time they used in order to develop that contact with its source, unity, multiplicity, and mutuality. So what we are doing, we are getting stuck with the tools. We don't know how to use the tool to chisel something great. You are stuck with the tool. It is not the tool which is making the sculpture. It is the mind which is using the tool to bring out the sculpture. Mind has the aim and the ideal, the goal. Tool is the process and the outcome is coming out. So you will not have problem. But the problem comes here only when you stress that unity, multiplicity, mutuality is there only in my religion. That cannot be. That is contradictory and antithetical to your own value, which is unity, multiplicity, and mutuality cannot be in only one. Not possible. Because unity by nature is unification and unionness and oneness. Oneness cannot be divisive. Multiplicity cannot be divisive because that is by nature itself is free. How can a thing be free and be divisive again? Not possible. Similarly, mutuality. How can a thing be interconnected, mutual, and yet be disharmonious? Not possible. So we need to cling to the root of the elements. I understand at the academic level, we need to discuss it. But in order to go beyond the academic level, we need to have an experiential knowledge of spirituality. But for that matter, let me tell you, experiential knowledge of spirituality is just not only for spirituality, it is for all subjects. That is true knowledge. What is the difference between knowledge and information? Information is data. Knowledge is experience. Do you have the experience or not of the subject that you are talking about? You know, I just will complete it in a few minutes. I think 2 minutes are there. In the year 1994, UNESCO brought out an interesting document called Transdisciplinarity. I wish everybody reads that. There is also one more book called Bower's Scholarship of a Professoriate that was submitted in 92, if I remember, to the United States Educational Research Foundation, where all these things are outlined. Many things are outlined. And similarly, a system of national education that was written 110 years back by Sri Aurobindo, in which he outlines these core principles and values of future humanity, what he calls the universal humanity. But to come back, you require experience for all subjects, not just only for spirituality. That is another misnomer we are having. Spirituality only has experience, the rest of them can be handled. No. Every subject needs experience. Every knowledge needs experience. Otherwise, experience is what? Experience is understanding how that knowledge, how that information operates. I also know how, I also have a spanner in my house. I can also open my tap. I can also find out what the fault in my plumbing line. But I can't do it beyond a point because I don't have the knowledge, because I don't have the experience of handling it or having done it many times. So experience matters a lot for all subjects. So keep in mind, experience is the core education. Transferring of that experience is the most important thing. And for interdisciplinary, it is indispensable. Because keep in mind, you are dealing with two different types of knowledge, which otherwise exists in their respective domains, and you are trying to integrate without even experience, which it will be a disaster. Don't do that. So that's why I'm saying develop your strength of your subject in the realm of your subject, then connect it with the constitution and go slow. And go gradual. In this way, you will be able to satisfy yourself as well as the students, and above all, you will also be able to satisfy your career and as a teacher, the noble calling, researcher, and so on. Are there any other questions? One last question I can take. After that, I need to.
Dear participants, would anybody like to clarify or comment on any portions what Professor was sharing?
Professor Amarthalingam, sir, shall I ask one? It's not a question, sir, actually, it's just my
Please.
observations.
Yes,
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr.
Please.
Parameswaran, sir, for, making us spiritually and professionally, capable to think more on the subject. Sir, I think, we live in the age of machines. At times, we also take the role of machines and we become ATMs, because we have knowledge, we have facts in us, we mug up facts in schools, colleges, and we reproduce that, we exchange that facts to the students. And on the basis of that exchange, we divide students' community into weaker students, average student, best students, and we also recognize them by giving gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal, everything. So we live in divisions. So this is our social reality, and this is we understand from the social collectivity, as you said. Now I'm taking that one concept that you have referred, integrations. So we have knowledge, we have divisions, we have facts, documents, everything. But how we need to transcend this factual documented experience to a spiritual level means we need to become organic. And we don't know how to take the role of converting ourselves into an organic being, because we don't know, as you said, what's actually our being is, and we don't know how we exist and what is our existential shape or structure, because we are not bothered about, because we are being dominated by certain rules. I mean, legal system, not by law, but actually we want to be dominated by law, not by legal system. Because I'm experiencing all these things, and at this juncture, I happen to listen to a professor called Parameswaran, and he's telling that we need to be more spiritual. And I'm really fascinated, excited, and meaningfully, I have been convinced with your proposition that we need to have this integration or confluence of what we do and the meaning of what we have done. So how to analyze our experience? We do many things, sir, in our life. I teach, I sleep, I do whatever I want. But the purpose of understanding the meaning, and I don't know how to name my experience. I don't know how to interpret my experience. If you're not able to interpret or understand or give meaning to my experience, it would be void, it would be dull, it would be blank. So I become a machine again. So this confluence and integration is very, very important. But how we can attain this merging of duty and experience? As you said, components and its experience. As you said, the subjects, unity, liberty, equality, unity, and multiplicity. How that merging, what is the source, and how we need to act for that confluence or integration, sir? I think my thoughts is in right track. Sorry if I'm a bit abstract.
No, it's absolutely fine. What you're saying is very important. How do we kickstart this? The whole thing is to start somewhere. You should not wait for anything. There is in psychotherapy, we say 3 mindsets exist. One, the victim mindset, which means I will start doing it only when things are all right for me, to the extent or up to what I expect, and if it happens, only then I will start. The second mindset is a working mindset. No, I have to work to find it out. I have to work to find it out. This is better than the first victim mindset. There is one more mindset, third mindset. It's called winner mindset. Winner. A winner mindset, if you analyze, because this is a scientific study that they have done with sports people, Olympic people, and great achievers. They think they will win. They feel that they have already won. They are only executing it at that point of time. So first thing that we need to keep in mind is that have a winner mindset. Yes, I can do it. I am doing it because I have all the resources that I need. In the neuro-linguistic programming also, we say that each and everyone has all the resources they need. That's the first principle that we teach in the neuro-linguistic programming, because that's where your neural pathway starts operating in a different way. When I say you have all the resources you need, you already have all the resources that you need. When I say this, your fundamental shift takes place. Awareness changes to a positive direction. So keep this in mind. So you have to be very positive, have the winner mindset, and you have to feel and think that you already have all the resources that you need. Then to operate it at a practical level, just now I said to somebody that sit quietly on a daily basis. At least twice a day you must sit. Thinking of unity, thinking of love, thinking of compassion, thinking of peace. We never think of these things. Do we have time for ourselves? We complain we don't have time for ourselves. No, we have all the time for ourselves. Change this mindset. Can't you just give yourself half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the night before you go to bed? Review all that what you have done in your day. We have time. 24 hours we have. Even if you work for 10 hours in the university, you still have 14 hours. Out of 14 hours, even if you have sleep for 7 hours, you still have 7 hours. Even the rest of 7 hours, even if you spend 1 hour for the meals, you still have 4 or 5 hours. Even if you just leave 2 hours for the general, outing or just spending time here and there, you still have 2 hours. Can't we spend from the 2 hours 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the night? Think of what you want to become. That itself kickstarts the journey. That itself puts you in the space in which you are thinking about yourself in relation to the world. That itself kickstarts the position of yourself in relation to the universe. And when you are positive that I want to do this and I would like to do it, you immediately see things happening to you. Why? Because you become what you think. You become what you feel. You become what you be. These are not philosophical thoughts. These are not moral judgments or ethical values. These are all basic psychological, psychotherapeutic, neurolinguistic values. Why I am adding these 3 new values again and again: psychology, psychotherapy, neurolinguistic? Because those are the most important sciences that are coming up in the last 100 years with so much advanced information of how our brain works, how our body works, how our emotions feel, and so on, and how we are shaped by our own thoughts, how we are shaped by our own feelings. So when you feel you want it, it happens. When you think you want it, it happens. We have seen that. It's not a magic. It's not anything miraculous or abracadabra. It's very simple. There is a connection between your mind, thought. There is a connection between your emotion, feelings. There is a connection between your sense and skills. There is a connection between your mind, body and physical. All these are integrated and interconnected by nature in the intrinsic side. But we have cut it out because we went away. We externalized ourselves continuously with all kinds of things. So having externalized ourselves too much outside, we need to draw in. And that drawing in purpose is what I call it as at least 30 minutes a day in the morning and 30 minutes in the night before you go to sleep. Have a gratitude. My God, how beautiful it is that you have lived the day. Somebody has made food for us. Somebody is giving job for us. Somebody is sitting and listening to us. Somebody is praising us. Somebody is making you grow and they are paying you for that. Teaching job is the most interesting job in which you are paid for your own growth. Do we have that gratitude? Yes, we do have sometimes, but it has to be consciously nurtured, consciously developed, and that must become part of our nature. The rest of them keep it just for entertainment. Not that you should become all-time serious and ha-ha-hoo-hoo about everything. Be normal and enjoy life, but focus must turn inward. Focus must turn inside. Focus must be about from the individual to the whole universe and the world. And that makes your life stress-free. And that makes your life very sweet to enjoy. Can you believe? You don't need to invest anything to be happy. You don't need to invest any amount of money to be sweet to yourself and sweet to others. It's just by inner shifting. Morning 30 minutes. Get up in the morning. Send out all positive vibrations to the universe, cosmos. If you believe in God or whatever it is, your religion, seek the guidance, seek the blessings, feel the love, feel the peace, and start interacting with your family members, your brothers, father, in that way. Do some little work in the house, go to university, enjoy company with students, help your colleagues, Remain calm, quiet during the day, and afterwards come out of it, feel fully relaxed, enjoy the life. It is perfectly possible. For that, you don't need to leave the world and go somewhere into a cave and meditate. You can enjoy here itself. This is much more a greater joy that I can enjoy the world as well as enjoy myself. Yes, it is possible. That is the capability of the human spirit, the human self. It has powers that you cannot even think of what it is. I hope I have answered. If you have more questions, you are most welcome to write to me at the email address which I have given here. And I think how much time is left for me, Professor Amrithalingan? Is it over?
Professor, you have 10 more minutes.
Okay,
You
10
want to-
more.
Yes, please.
Are there any questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor. Thank you for your answers. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Any other question?
Yes, Professor. Since there are no questions, then whichever part you want to highlight, please, Professor.
Yeah, okay. Now a question, an interesting thing comes. How do we take this interdisciplinary, not just only in relation to spirituality and the constitution? So you have to start somewhere. The method you have to produce somewhere. So you can give a small assignment to students and see how they are doing it. Don't think that you only know everything, others don't know anything. This is another problem that we all have as teachers. It's a teacher's syndrome. We think that others don't know anything, we know everything. Of course, the original teacher, the real teacher has the experience. He can claim that. But it doesn't mean, or it doesn't come up with the sense that others don't know anything. No, others don't know the thing which you have experienced. That is perfectly possible. But that doesn't mean that others do not have any experience. Your experience and others' experience may match, may not match. So when you give some kind of a small, start with a small assignment, a project or something. We have periodical continuous evaluations which you can start with. You start with that and experiment. Don't immediately go into a big experiment. It will be not that safe to handle. You handle at a small level. Maybe you can start with a group discussion of what people are thinking, that subject that you are teaching, how it can be integrated with other subjects. And you need now, after having done this or after having projected this idea, you need a very serious interrelationship with your own colleagues who are teaching the subjects in which you want to bring some kind of integration of knowledge. We think that I am teaching constitution, I have nothing to do with Indian Penal Code teacher. No, no, no. I don't know who you are. I am teaching IPR. I don't know anything about sociology. No, I don't want to hear that. This kind of camping is not a true sign of knowledge. That is my belief, which is also coming up slowly with a lot of evidence that integration is going to be the new normal, the new order of the day for the future. So giving small assignments, taking small assignments, and then having a collaboration with the subject which you like to collaborate with some of your colleagues in your own university or outside, whatever be it, start somewhere the interdisciplinary journey. If you don't want to start, also perfectly fine. At least go deep into your own subject. Don't just stop only at that statutory level. You have to go deeper into it. At least you will find constitution. And if you go deep into the constitution, you will at least find humanity and social collectivity there. So interdisciplinary is just not only between two subjects crisscrossing each other. No, it can also go deeper and deeper. That is also perfectly possible. Because the disciplines which we are thinking that this is this, this is that, this is only according to our mental conception. So when you go deep into your own subject, you will find various knowledges crisscrossing, overlapping with each other. That is also interdisciplinary. Whether you are making it very clearly, law and psychology, law and history, law and economics, law and management, whether you do it effectively or not, at least Nobody is going to force you to do that because interdisciplinary has to come from within. If you're not interested in exploring a dimension of knowledge, then nobody can help you. But if you are very serious about the teaching profession, the teaching methodology, you cannot avoid this. That's where the call comes. That is why teaching is a noble calling. Because you are standing in front of 100 students and people are looking at you and looking at you for what you are going to talk, what you are going to speak. So unless you are prepared, unless you are grounded, you will not be able to deliver. But to do the grounding, to do the preparation, you have to start somewhere also. That's why I'm saying start at a small project level, simple project level, in terms of an assignment, in terms of an assessment, or taking it to the level of a question, the particular examination. Provided you are very sure of, don't venture just by excitement and over curiosity. That is also not correct. So we need to keep that in mind. So when we do that kind of a thing, then it becomes very easy for you. Then one thing that I found in this interdisciplinary or the integration that I have found, law, religion, spirituality, justice, ethics, and peace values, there is a constant, unending journey of self-exploration, which is giving me so much energy and happiness. Why we get stuck and we feel bored and frustrated is precisely because energies are getting stuck in one domain. Energy by nature is free flow moving. That's why liberty we are talking. Liberty of thought, freedom of speech, faith, belief, worship. Why? Energy is like this. Why this liberty cannot be curtailed? Of course, only for the sake of that you are using liberty to curtail somebody's liberty. Why this liberty, equality, fraternity cannot be curtailed? Because we did not create it. So what we did not create, we cannot control it. So can I just simply say to all the 37 participants here, stop the thought? No, you cannot stop it. Can you stop? Simply because I am telling. Because I have no control over you. Even if I control you, you all have to stop thoughts and you keep quiet. You all will be thinking and giggling and smiling at me. Because I am not the originator of your brain. I am not the originator of your spirit. You are born yourself. But when we have this kind of a depth and this kind of a energy which is continuously moving, flowing, and evolving, if you get stuck to one set of ideas, you get bored. That's exactly where the career, the teaching career, the research takes a toll. Suddenly we feel a loss. My God, what am I doing? What research am I doing? I'm just going round and round and round in the same idea, same topic. You feel bored. You feel stuck. So, going into the deeper dimensions of research itself is so helpful to teaching career. Mind well, teaching career is one career in which you are supposed to stand in front of 100 students on a daily basis and interact with them. And if you are interacting with the students, hundreds of students on a daily basis, regularly, if you do not have the enthusiasm, rather you are putting your boredom and depression and stress and fatigue into students, it will again recoil from the other side. It becomes very difficult for us. Then we even wonder, why did I take up this profession? You go even to that extent. Somewhere inside us, we have taken to this call. That means we are interested in knowledge. We are interested in thinking. We are interested in analyzing, reading. But it has to be structured. It has to be disciplined. It has to be systematic. It has to be put into a process. And it has to be constantly widened. It has to be constantly expanded. The moment you put it in a closet, put it in two brackets, closing and opening, shuttling between these two small zones will obviously make you tired, will obviously make you dull, will obviously feel that you are at loss. So, to come back, to start with, somewhere, do your own research, involve your own colleagues from inside the institution or outside the institution. Start with a small project through students in the continuous evaluation or anything. But before that, prepare yourself, ground yourself, but do not wait for it. Start somewhere, have the balance and the maturity of handling things and the humility to grow. The human nature is such that humility is one thing which will easily make others accept you, even if you commit a mistake. Because humility is nothing but love. If I am humble enough, it says that I am love. Okay, last question. Religion as an institution played a major role in structuring the society and its knowledge in the medical. Do you think still it has something to contribute to the society and academics? Of course. That's what I have spoken for 2 hours. Religion plays a very crucial role, but if you get stuck to the process, then it will not play a role. It is just like we are getting stuck to our subject without even connecting with the origin of the subject, which is constitution. You got it, Dr. Kumar. So we need to keep that in mind. What plays role is the aim and the outcome and the process involved. You need to see the aim, you need to see the outcome, and you need to connect with the process, and you need to see that the aim is leading you to the outcome through a process. If you get stuck with the process, yes, spirituality will always be of help. Religious dimensions may change because of the geographical situation, topography, climate, food, and so on. It may change. In my religion, just for example, if I belong to a particular religion, they may say you have to only eat this, you should not eat that. But if I go to live in Siberia, I cannot eat that food. I don't have that food. So what would I do? So whether my life is important or a moral injunction that you have to do this, you have to do that is important. That is your call. You take the call. But when we transcend all those things, then we clearly understand, oh, okay, I need to do this, not for
Others.
Pardon? Yeah. So we need to understand all tools or processes to be used, but towards an outcome in which unity, multiplicity, mutuality has to come. As a result of the experience of unity, multiplicity, and mutuality, when we get back to life after that experience, when we enter life after that experience, say morning 30 minutes, evening 30 minutes, start thinking of unity, start thinking of multiplicity, start thinking of mutuality, harmony, and start expressing it at the family level. Your own brother, sisters, father, mother, neighbors, your apartment. Go out to university and then express the same thing. Slowly you start experiencing it. And that experience slowly results in automatic equality, liberty, fraternity. I know it will not immediately change the whole structure of the society, unless and until each and everyone starts. But if we teachers do not start it, who else will start? Because teachers are the beacon of light. They are standing in front of students, 200 students or 100 students, who are representations from the society from different segments. It is they who have to have this correct integrated thinking and feeling and value systems. I got it. I hope I have answered this question, Dr. Kumar. So I think it's time up, Professor Amarthalingam.
Yes, Professor.
Yeah,
Dear
okay.
participants, if anybody would like to specifically clarify, we will.
Maybe one last question I can take.
Thank you, Professor. I think no other
It will
participants
not
want to
be
clarify.
easy for me to handle a subject as vast as this, or teaching pedagogy and method to include interdisciplinary, which is so vast and huge and deep and wide. It may not be actually possible in 2 hours, but I have
Definitely, Professor.
and I have given my best to it, and I request people to write to me, and in case of any clarification you need, any help you need, assistance you need from my side, I am always willing to help Tamil Nadu National Law University, whose Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Elizabeth is a great mentor of mine, friend of mine, a great teacher of history and law and so on. So I will give my best, whatever that I am capable of, given my time and circumstance. And once again, I thank all of you for patiently hearing this lecture for last 2 hours. And it is a great honor for me. And I thank the whole university, the organizing team for this, and wish all the participants of this FDP a great success in the coming times and a new orientation for our new life with that we are beginning in the year 2022. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor. Now, may I request our Malini ma'am to propose formal vote of thanks? Malini ma'am?
Yes, sir, sure, sir.
Please, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks for today. I will first like to extend my hearty gratitude to our resource person, Dr. K. Parameswaran, for enlightening us on the topic law and spirituality. Thank you, sir, for the very insightful and interesting lecture. It gave a very broader perspective on the interdisciplinary approach between law and spirituality. The lecture was very interesting and it was very lucidly delivered, sir, and it also opened new room for interdisciplinary studies. I once again thank you very much, sir, on behalf of the Tamil Nadu National Law University for your contribution to our faculty development program. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I would also like to thank all the participants here for your active participation and interaction with our resource persons, without which this won't be a grand success. And I also like to thank the FDP committee for organizing and successfully conducting this program on day 3. And finally, I also like to thank the IT team for organizing this program. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malini ma'am. Thank you very much, Professor.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you.
Dear participants, now I request all
Thank you, sir.
participants to join the next session sharply at 1:50 p.m. The session will start at 2 p.m. Thank you all.
Yes, participants, that feedback form is shared for this session. Please fill without fail. Thank you. Dr. Felix, sir?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
host now? Are you host now, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
sir, he is the host.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. So please stop recording and end the session, sir.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Felix,
We'll,
sir.
we'll meet at